All right, so we are live here. And as you can see, I am still using the mic from that I used yesterday. And tonight we are going to do Superhero Saturday. I have never done this. This is actually going to be kind of a neat idea. I am going to at least try within this video to do every single hey there. Um, hey Boredom, hey Mark. I'm gonna rate every single Marvel Cinematic Universe film. I'm going to talk about the DCEU. I'm going to talk about way before that, and I'll get into the Batman films, the Superman films. I'll get into some of the early stuff, and maybe even talk about some of the serials and stuff as well. But as you can see, hopefully this mic is okay. I'm actually going to be. I sent away for a new mic. It's a lavalier. I was originally going to get a snowball ice, and I was going to mount it here so that I could actually do it kind of like more of like a traditional podcast style level with hopefully even better audio. Hey Raymond. Now I'm not going to do that right now because I'm actually just going to get a lavalier and I'm going to save up for a really good one. Hey Adam, long time no see, right? I'm going to save it for a really good mic. This was last night was the first time in a long time that I wish I'd gotten a Patreon going for my channel because it was extremely frustrating. So hopefully, Ram, you're still going to like this. So what I'm going to start out with, because it'll make it easier to talk about, I'm going to go through my ratings for my rankings for and I ranked them from least favorite to best for the cinematic universe. And the way that I did it is rather than just rank them all together, I decided I'll rank them each within their phase. Now the hardest ranking for me was phase 3. That had the obviously the most films and some of the strongest films as well. So we'll start off with the with the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1. After we do this, then we're going to go into other aspects. So don't think this is just going to be Marvel. No, it's Marvel, DC, everything. We're going to do comics, cartoons, like tie-in shows, all that stuff. Anyway, so the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1. Hopefully I don't lose people with this one because my rankings may not be the same as somebody else. It's it's a subjective thing. And for the worst film for Phase 1, and that's not saying like any of them are like completely horrible, but for me is Iron Man 2. So Iron Man 2 gets the lowest ranking when it comes to Phase 1. Some of it worked, a lot of it for me personally didn't. I saw it like I saw most Marvel Cinematic Universe, actually all of them in the theater, but I except for a couple, which I'll explain later. But yeah, no, Iron Man 2 was ranked the lowest on the list, and coming up closely after that is the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, which I do think Norton did a good job as Bruce Banner. I think he gets kind of maligned when you look back on it, and having the Abomination was a good choice as a character. Hey, Okori, I'm rating we're going to do a superhero podcast tonight, and I'm going to go through all kinds of superhero stuff. So if you're like more horror superhero stuff or anything like that, I'll still be here because I'll be talking about all that. But right now I'm rating the Marvel Cinematic Universe in phases, from worst to best, in my opinion. So yeah, Incredible Hulk had a lot of good stuff with it, but all the pieces didn't fit together for me completely. So Incredible Hulk is the a number 5 position. Definitely entertaining, but lots of flaws. Number 4 is Thor. Oh, that rhymes, huh? Thor was visually a beautiful movie to look at, and they really nailed it with the casting of Chris Hemsworth and Loki. Both of those, they really became like cornerstones of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they did great jobs. I don't think this is the best Thor film. Obviously, we'll get into that, but it's definitely not the worst one either. We'll get into that as well. Good film, not great. It's an okay start, and I really enjoyed it. Next up is Captain America: First Avenger. Now, Captain America: First Avenger it's the first one. I do like period pieces, though I did consider it a little weak, and primarily in that I think they could have done more with the villain. I know that they stuck early on with a pretty stringent like rule set that Marvel had. people were pretty much had to go by, had to go by the Marvel rule, what they said. That would go looser later on, and that would make for a lot of better films. Unfortunately, at this point, they didn't let them, they didn't let the reins of Captain America go too much. So that being said, it's up in in the third best, so still really good, right? Number two, I went back and forth on this one, but I had to go with Iron Man. Uh, Iron Man, I thought was a fantastic film. It did a great job. Now it's one that doesn't really stands and falls on Iron Man. The villain, okay, but I got a feeling that Iron Man in future watches may actually go down a little farther on the list than some of these that might come up, because these things are ever changing. The best film for the first phase, for just pure audience enjoyment and satisfaction alone, was I think, and it's far from flawless, and that's the Avengers. I thought they did a pretty good job bringing the Avengers together on the screen for the first time. Again, we got the beam and the sky beam and the nondescript aliens for the villain, but Loki really helped carry that film, and nobody ever forgets the Hulk swinging Loki back and forth scene within that film, or the line where basically he says, we got a Hulk. Those type of things kind of stand out, and it really was a combination of the bringing everything that was worked right in the first phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe together. All right, phase two. This was a lot easier. I'm not going to lie. Now, puny you, Thor: The Dark World, by far and large the worst of the second, of the ones in the second phase. I'm a big Thor fan, though you wouldn't tell it from these ratings. But as much as I'm a Doctor Who fan, and a Whovian, basically, I'm sorry, Christopher Eccleston, you didn't get it. It's not his fault. But Thor: The Dark World was pretty bad. Up next is another one that actually was pretty weak too. So we got a couple weak ones here, like weaker than in the first phase actually, and that is Iron Man 3. Let's face it, hey Elvin, they really bit it with the Mandarin character. Hey James, welcome, dude. They really screwed up with the Mandarin character. They really did. It's one of the most important villains it is the most important villain for Iron Man, and it's one of the stronger villains in the Marvel universe. So what they did with him, it was interesting, it was cute, but it wasn't very good. Hey, Movie Mac, welcome, dude. I haven't got to see your unboxing yet. I got well, watch that though. I tried to make sure I didn't stream when you were streaming though. So next up is Avengers: Age of Ultron. As we know, as a sequel, pretty good. James Spader. I always love James Spader and stuff. But Age of Ultron, I was iffy on it. It had some pacing issues, I found. Overall, that was a fun film. And it loses a bit by not being able to have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch actual mutants, and have to have those explained off in a kind of a lazier type of way. Now, again, you may think differently. That's fine, and feel free to talk about it here. Just don't get me with me. This is my opinion. Next up is one that I actually almost put higher, which is Ant-Man. I thought Ant-Man was a fantastic film. It did comedic. It was a different take. It was a breath of fresh air when everything seemed so serious and driven towards a certain way, a certain phase. But Ant-Man was that breath of fresh air I needed it in all these huge, driven high stakes driven films. Ant-Man was a really great breath of fresh air. Winter Soldier comes next, and I know a lot of people are going to find that controversial. Nice. I thought you had. I could have sworn you had a channel Movie Mac. Did I get that wrong? This is my best Jack Benny look. Winter Soldier, which a lot of people would put in the top for Phase 2. I know a lot of people would. It's a great film, and it deals with some darker issues. And I really loved Civil War. Oh, sorry, Winter Soldier. But again, wasn't my favorite. My favorite, and again, my personal opinion was Guardians of the Galaxy topped it for me. I love the kind of different take on it. I love science fiction films. I it, it had like a more it had I definitely had a more humorous tone. The soundtrack was fantastic. I'm an '80s kid, so yeah, that was a wonderful thing for me as well. And I was surprised. I went in with low expectations for Guardians of the Galaxy, and out of all of the films, it's one of the ones that actually I do enjoy. I enjoyed more upon rewatch. There's one other film that I enjoyed more upon rewatch, and you're going to find out what that is in Phase 3. So, Phase 3. This was really hard because there's a lot of strong films in Phase 3. I think we can pretty much all agree on that. Some people aren't going to, a lot of people are not going to agree with my opinion on this here, and it's okay. So the lowest one for me was Ant-Man and the Wasp. The ending of the film definitely set up some stuff for Endgame, but it was a fun film. It was lighthearted. It wasn't my favorite of the films, but still, I enjoyed it. As it just didn't seem it seemed more like a Phase 2 than a Phase 3 film, if that makes any sense. Next up is Doctor Strange, which I really did like. I liked them bringing magic in the Marvel Universe. I thought the film was extremely well done. It's just that it's a film, it's a good film in a bunch of really great films. Yeah, see, Doctor Strange, again, it's a fantastic film, and it could go a lot of places there. Oh, you're always going to mention something off topic, dude. Next up is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which again, I really liked. I didn't like it as much as Guardians of the Galaxy, though I do think it was one of the most visually stunning films that Marvel's ever done. It just did things really, really well. Did things great. Next up for me is one that some people put in their top, and it's not in my top. I'm going to be honest, and that's Civil War. Civil War's fantastic. No, this is just thanks. This is my older mic that I use for listening to podcasts and stuff. But I'm using it until I get a new one. I got one order. Civil War is a fantastic film. It brings Spider-Man into the Marvel Universe, which is great. It gets the clash. Hey, Javid, between Captain America and Iron Man going, but you don't really see that strong of a payoff to it down the road. Civil War is very much, although there's aspects of it. A lot of it seems very self-contained. We get Black Panther in there, so there's a lot of great things in Civil War. Why did I rank it so low? I should have ranked it higher. Anyway, so I'm going to go with it now because that's what I got down here for now. I can tell you, thinking back on it now, Civil War probably should have been higher on this list. Thor Ragnarok. Comics film. I'm a huge comic book fan too. I'll get into that as well, by the way, Javid. Thor Ragnarok was really good. Was a really good film. It's probably the best Hulk film ever made. They do a great job with the characters that they put in there. They have a great blend of humor and action in Thor Ragnarok. Just an amazing blend of humor and action. I went into Thor Ragnarok honestly expecting something extremely mediocre. And the director just amazed me. He did a fantastic job with the film. He did a fantastic job voicing a character in the film as well. Now again, this is one that follows along many of Marvel's films where the villain kind of weak, but everything else kind of rises it up above there. Civil War had a better villain. Spider-Man: Homecoming. The first Spider-Man film to ever be in the Marvel Universe. I really liked Holland as Spider-Man. I thought he did a great job. I think what really centered this one, what really made this one so good, though it was definitely Michael Keaton's performance. The fact that Holland and Keaton together play off of each other so well is a definite plus. I was iffy going to liking a hot Aunt May, but I got to say, hey, Culture Trini, I really ended up enjoying it. And so it really surprised me, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Next up on the list is Black Panther. Oh, a second. If it's got Jim Brown in it, man, I would say that is a blaxploitation film. And if it's not on Blu-ray, that definitely should be on Blu-ray. Black Panther. Fantastic film. Great villain. Fantastic villain. And it went between the number 2 and 3 spot on this list. And I really love the way Wakanda was visually shown. Pretty much everything about the top three films are fantastic. But something's got to be lower than another. So one and two, this got really hard for me. What was the best, most epic moment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It had to come down to that. It really had to come down to that. So number two spot is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is one of the only Marvel films, cinematic films, that I bothered to go see in the theater twice for a couple reasons. Well, I had to see it with different people, but two, I actually genuinely wanted to go in and see if my reaction that I had when I first saw the film was going to stay on my second viewing. And for me personally, it for my better half, there was no doubt about it. This is her favorite Marvel film, and one of her favorite superhero films ever done. Don't take that lightly, because afterwards she went to like a clothing place online and she picked up some Captain Marvel merchandise, some clothing, T-shirts. She's looking at a jacket as well. So really, really strong one for me too. So that inevitably makes number one Infinity War. And would like to see, well, I am live. Would like to see me in real life? If I ever get in your area, Corey, we'll definitely make that happen. We'll do like a double video, a dual video type thing. Video duet. Infinity War, just Thanos. Thanos, the epic scope of the film, it's a culmination of 10 years of filmmaking. And it's very rare that anything can culminate with such great strength. Even some of the greats like Star Wars or Indiana Jones or even Lord of the Rings, for some people, tend to taper off a little bit. And you know, we still have to consider this is the first part of basically a two-part epic film saga. Infinity War really checks all those boxes and leaves you thinking about, that's a good question, Javed, a very good question. Do I prefer the MCU to the Netflix universe? And that's a really hard question for me, because growing up as what a lot of people probably don't know on here is, long before I collected films, I was a kid that collected comic books. I actually collected comic books away into college. I had the original first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in its first run. I'm not joking. I really did. I had this second, third, and fourth issue of Fantastic Four, and the original Fantastic Four, and they got ruined in a flood. So, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that actually. Let me know, Corey, if I'm around. I definitely wouldn't mind that. I haven't been in a stream with other people in a while, so that would be kind of fun. We did one with Jace a while back, which is really fun, and I'm actually researching another one for Jace now for Westerns, which I've actually just started watching some of, so I can actually do that. But yeah, Corey, that sounds like a great idea. Now, Claremont's run from the 70s to the 80s. Claremont's run was really good. The only problem I have with Claremont's run is that it's follow-up afterwards. People tended to cherry pick things from Claremont's run and focus on them. But only certain things, and then other things get lost in the wash. Look how many times Wolverine's origin's been like switched around, stuff like that. But yeah, overall for me, that's my thoughts. Yeah, I didn't answer your question, did I? I guess overall, for its overarching ability, I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but more personally for me, to be honest with you, I really did like the Netflix universe. I really strongly did, and I grew up in the 70s, and was a kid I grew up in the 80s. Was a kid in the 70s, so the comics, a lot of the comics that I was reading, like what I was personally reading at the time. I read a lot of the kung fu comics that came out, like The Hands of Shang-Chi, and uh, and Iron Fist, Heroes for Hire, the Daredevil, the both the Frank Miller and the Senti run of the comic series. So yeah, I love the first season of Daredevil. I thought it was fantastic. I actually am probably one of the only people that really enjoyed Iron Fist to be the first season. I think it got much better in the second season. However, there's one thing in the first season of Iron Fist that was kind of missing. I do remember first comic, and I'll let you know in a second actually, from a lot of the other Marvel, Netflix universes. The I don't know, I want to call them bad guys or like just the family in Iron Fist is so well done. Is so well put together. Iron Fist is actually probably the weakest part in the first season of that show, but I just wanted to watch on to see like how mixed up and messed up this family was. That was driving me. My first comic book that I can remember was a Spider-Man comic actually. It was probably, I'm not sure if it was a Marvel Tales or an Amazing Spider-Man, but one of my first comics was a Spider-Man one. I remember early on there was like when I was younger, I used to get those Spidey Super Stories comics that used to come out from Electric Company, and I read a lot of like I read as I got older. I started reading a lot of Marvel and DC stuff when I had the chance to get a Static. Yeah, actually, Static Shock is of course based on what's the Milestone universe, right? Lizard making an appearance. I hate what they did with the lizard, by the way, in the comic books. I really hate it. I so hate it. If you're not familiar with if you're only familiar, guys, with the lizard that has been on the, well, Amazing Spider-Man, the lizard was a character that was kind of like, was Kirk Connors. He was like a good guy, and turn into the lizard and be kind of a bad character. But he was never overtly bad. He was never too bad. Unfortunately, when they decided to really revamp the lizard's character in the comic books, what they ended up doing was making him eat his son. I'm not joking. He becomes cannibal and he eats his son, killing the last bit of his humanity. Some people thought that was dark and edgy. I thought it was stupid. Hey, Sarah Ladshot. Do I remember the 70s series? Yeah, 70s series with Nicholas Hammond was pretty much, it pretty much started because of, well, The Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was doing incredibly well in the ratings, and they thought, what's the next logical step to go with it? Let's do Spider-Man. They started it with like with a live-action film, like a pilot film, and a couple of the cast members, a couple of the actors would get changed throughout the series. It didn't run for a long time. They kind of put it all over the map when it came to like to scheduling the program, at least where I was at, and inevitably, the Spider-Man series, much like the ill-fated Doctor Strange TV pilot, wouldn't go that far. Actually, more people would forget that there was even a Doctor Strange TV pilot. There was, and he had awesome 70s afro hair, and it had the mother from Arrested Development playing the villain. What's really cool, though, is there were two films by Red Brown. And those were, Red Brown is not known for being a good actor. If you've seen Howling 2, you know what I'm talking about. But he is known for playing Captain America, sort of. His version of Captain America is set and centered in the 70s. He wears a motorcycle helmet for as Captain America. They were put out on DVD, I think maybe on Blu-ray. I think only on DVD actually by Shout Factory. I recommend it. There were two TV films, and he goes around with a motorcycle and a kind of a translucent shield, very plastic-looking shield. That being said, it was way better than the Salinger one that would come later in the 90s. But they were fun. The first one, basically, he's the son. He's Steve Rogers, but he's kind of the son of Steve Rogers. So he's kind of Steve Rogers Jr. He's an artist. He's got a van, and he has his Captain America motorcycle in this van. The sequel would have Christopher Lee, the great Christopher Lee, playing a terrorist from Not in English. It's like Spanish or something like that. Anyway, what's my favorite comic book adaptation of all time? That's really hard because I really love a lot of comic book films. It's not going to be. I'm a very big fan of Batman. And for me, the first Batman, with the first Batman with Michael Keaton, uh, really stands out. Like highly above a lot of the other more lauded Batman films. I also grew up with the Chris Reeve Superman films, and I love the first one. I think the second one is better though. I actually do. Uh, Regular theatrical cut. It doesn't have to be the different cut. I don't mind Marlon Brando not having more scenes in the in the second cut. So I'm not one of those people who will be saying, why yes, I like Superman 2, but only the Donner version of it. No, that ain't me, dude. The first two make a great story together, and Richard Donner did like a large portion of the second one anyway. Though when I saw both of the cuts together, I'll be honest with you, I like the regular cut. I think that the director that took over did a great job. Heavy Metal is a fantastic one. That's a great, for people here that don't know what heavy metal is. Heavy Metal is a comic book film that was done in the 80s. It uses a lot of it's got a rocking soundtrack. It was done primarily by a Mobius, there you go, by a Canadian cast, and a lot of people from SCTV, John Candy, Eugene Levy, I think, Joe Flaherty maybe, were voice characters in that film. It was wonderfully done. Now, Heavy Metal is an adult-based anthology comic done in North America, but that's not where it started at. It actually was originally called Metal Hurlant, and it is a French comic, a French sci-fi fantasy anthology comic. Heavy Metal was really just a kind of an English version of Metal Hurlant. The George Reeves Superman series is extremely good, James. I strongly recommend it. The early seasons of it are especially good. Some of the early ones, especially in the first season, has a film noir aspect to it. Is anyone in here working for Vinegar Syndrome? Movie Mac, do you know how much I want to work for Vinegar Syndrome? My literal Twitter name is Mr. Vincent. I've become so synonymous with Vinegar Syndrome that I do a podcast. I actually have been guest hosting on a podcast. Somebody knows their music. On Just the Discs, I completed my second episode on Vinegar Syndrome. But yeah, when it comes to the films, when it comes to George Reeves Superman, great stuff. They're great sets too, by the way. I've got a strong love for the Superman character. I've always had strong love from the Man of Steel. Even stronger probably for Lex Luthor in the later years, especially. The best televised version of Superman. One thing that Marvel didn't interest you would be Breakthrough Brought Back Blade. So you're more of like the horror-oriented, like Marvel stuff. You might like the New Mutants one that's coming out, James, because that looks to be almost horror style in the type that it's done. Blade would be an interesting character to bring back. I would love to see them bring back the character of Blade. You'd probably have to recast it again now. Wesley Snipes is definitely like he's gotten older, and it wouldn't be too bad. We've already seen Blade recast once. The TV series had Sticky Fingers on it. Some people would be like up in arms if they recast Blade, but I think that they could do a good job of that now. Hey, Dis Fallon, Superman's fab for the first Batman with Michael Keaton is your favorite. Wesley Snipes will always be Blade for you. Did you watch the TV series, Javed? The 70s series. Well, the Hulk was a good series. It really wasn't a lot like the comic book. It was in a way, but the Hulk had the thing of falling upon earlier shows like The Fugitive. style to go with, and I like that. It's it's a killer. No, you either got to go completely in with it, or don't do it at all. I do think it was weird that they changed his name to David Banner. Oh yeah, there was a Blade series. It only lasted one season though. I can't remember what channel it ran on. Maybe Spike or something like that. Somebody here might know. But it stars Sticky Fingers. It's worth checking out actually. It's not going to make you forget Blade or like the Wesley Snipes films, but I will do a comics thing one day. Spike, thanks. Spike also did Stripperella. James doesn't have very fond things to say with the Blade series. But Stripperella, which was Stanley, right? Or it used to be Spike. Yeah. Godzilla King of Monsters, dude, we were going through, like, coming to the theater, picking movies. Oh, we want to watch this one, watch this one, watch this one. Because we went to see Captain Marvel today for the second time. I think The Hulk was good. I really like the Hulk TV series. Do I read the Walking Dead comics? I've stopped a while back. Actually, I haven't read them in a while. But I have read, like, the first, like, few arcs of the Walking Dead comic. I watched the TV series. I kind of went off and on with that one as well. And I definitely have, like, strong thoughts on the Walking Dead series and its sister series, Fear the Walking Dead. Those, when I thought about comic books tonight, I didn't think of that really. I don't mind the show. A couple changes that they made, I think were not the best. Killing off certain characters early on that are still alive in the comics, and I think you know what I'm talking about. She's a crack shot. I was really disappointed when they did that with her. But thank you. I had a hard time with the. You picked the wrong movie, say John. I had a hard time with the blaxploitation video because halfway into the video, I lost my sound. I lost my mic, and hopefully it's not too obvious, but it threw me. So one of the reasons that I wanted to do a video, on something that I felt as strongly about as the superhero genre, is that I felt thrown, and I don't think I did the best job or as complete a job as I would normally be able to do on a topic like blaxploitation, which is something that I do enjoy, and it just took me out of the moment, and it shook me a bit to get back into it. It took a while. So hopefully I will do a future blaxploitation video, which will hopefully be better than the one I did. Still, check out the one that I did. I think it has some great portions of it, but I think near the end there I could have done better. Seeing the trailer to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Yep, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, somebody said they saw Alita instead of Captain Marvel. Okay, you don't have to see one and not see the other. Because, you know, if you're in the cinema, you can probably just go over and see the one afterwards. My better half went to see Captain Marvel today. This is my second time seeing it, and we're not going to get like political or any of that stuff. This is a movie room. It's a good film. It's a really good film. One of the things that I think a lot of so-called like critics quote unquote say, and that I think that they're completely wrong about. And there's a couple like bigger critics on YouTube that say this, and it actually blows my mind. Is that they say, well, the movie has no visual style. There's no centered visual style with the film, and there was two videos I saw that in, and I had to stop it for a second, and I had one of those. And somebody paid you to critique. Why? Captain Marvel is a very grunge-looking film. It's a very 90s film. From the way that from the music is obvious, but from the way that it's shot, if you've lived through the 90s and you watch Captain Marvel, it doesn't go too blatant, But it's a very 90s film, even in this decision and in the way that it is shot. People are complaining, what? Is that a thing? That's really a thing. The neat thing, aside from the fact that Captain Marvel blended science fiction and 90s music and and a really different aesthetic to it, uh, the I just it kind of just blew me away. And one of the other things too is I'm a dad with two grown kids. I'm a grown ass man. Never more did I wanted to see wish that I had like wish what my kid young enough to see it. And in that same way, this is for little girls watching this movie. It's going to be pretty epic. And I really that as a dad, that's huge. That like in my day, Princess Leia was the Captain Marvel of her day. She was that strong female character that girls would look at. Yeah, that's pretty badass. Oh, you don't like Marvel movies? Oh, I thought it was for another reason. Yeah. If you don't like the Marvel films in general, that's not going to change. Uh, Into the Spider Verse was fantastic. Now, obviously, that's not one of the Marvel Cinematic films. That's why it was not on the list. But Into the Spider Verse, if you haven't seen it, if you thought, well, this is animated, maybe I'm not going to see this. Sarah that shot. Maybe Into the Spider Verse might be your type of Marvel film as opposed to the Marvel Cinematic Universe style. That may be more of what you of your liking. You might want to give it a thing. Now, James, with me, and I'm going to get to DC in a second there because we did kind of talk about like some of the Batman stuff and some of the Superman stuff. DC started stronger. The people forget that DC wasn't always the DCEU like it is right now, and that's not even a thing anymore. I love the DC as a comic company. I think I like DC better, comics better. The characters, the characters with DC are better. The characters with Marvel work better on screen most of the time, James. And I think that it comes down to this: is that DC's characters, by far and large, when you use some of them, are like gods, and Marvel's characters are more ground-based. And there is a literal god in Marvel's universe, like there's Thor. But it's the fact that there's a more, I think, relatability for and like looking at it because I'm a guy that likes all comics. But let's get into the DCEU. Let's talk about that a bit. Batman's your favorite. So what is your favorite Batman film, James? Like your all-time favorite Batman film, like live action. Because if it was animated, if it was, I was going to say, if I was include animated, everybody's going to say Mask of the Phantasm. Have I seen any of the DC animated films? Yes, I have. I've seen a lot of them, and a lot of them I like. Some of them I'm iffy on. I thought Gotham by Gaslight was one of the rare times when the film improved upon the original graphic novel, and I love the graphic novel. Batman Returns, that's a really good choice. Batman Returns is extremely underrated when it comes to the Batman films. I I love Batman Returns. I think it's probably a stronger movie overall than the original Batman. Though I do have a bias towards the original Batman because I love Jack Nicholson's Joker. I really like Michael Keaton in the role of a Batman and Bruce Wayne, and I so like Vicky Vale. And so for me, the original Batman was and to be completely honest with you, when I went to see Batman 1989, I saw that in theater. I stood in a line with a crutch. Yep, I busted up my foot just before the weekend I was going to go see the movie. That did not stop me from seeing it on opening night. I stood there in a line, in a huge lineup. This was back when movies still had huge lineups, and I stood with this crutch, going in to see Batman, the movie. And I remember getting the book that came out about it, the making of Batman. It was like a hardcover book, and buying a lot of the Batman merchandise at the time. I was going into college. I just finished school, so yeah. Have I ever seen the Batman original serials? Yeah, I think I got them here somewhere. They're fun. They're really fun. They're obviously not like they're serials, but I really enjoy them. Jim Carrey's Riddler. I like Jim Carrey's Riddler. I, however, hated Tommy Lee Jones as Two Face. There's, aside from the makeup job, nothing about. There's no Two Face in Batman Forever. He doesn't exist. There's a character that looks similar to Two Face, and it was way too. It was way too much. It was way too Batman '66, and I love the Batman '66 thing. I got a feeling Tommy Lee Jones thought he was making an Adam West one, and I think that's strongly a mistake by Joel Schumacher. And this is, people say, well, Joel Schumacher did it, and it's light and cartoony. But have you seen the other stuff that Joel Schumacher has done? His films, by the way, aside from the Batman films, are very far from light and cartoony, and they're very far from being actual like studio like films. When you see things like 8mm and you realize this Joel Schumacher made the Batman films, what the hell happened? Can you imagine a darker, grittier, dirtier Batman film, at least grimier one, with Schumacher doing the style of direction that he did in a movie like 8mm? The Burton films look amazing in 4K. I've gotten the Nolan films, which I actually do like, and they're not my favorites, but they're great films aside from Batman being miscast, and I would love to see that come. I would love to see I know they put Superman out in 4K, but I like to have all the Superman films in 4K. And as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but isn't only Superman the movie out in 4K at this particular time, actually here in North America at least? There's a lot of fantastic stuff when it comes to that. Now, the Batman films themselves, if I was to go through all the Batman stuff, and here, we'll go through it quick because we're talking about the DCEU stuff right now. My favorite Batman is Keaton. My least favorite Batman, including, my least favorite Batman is Christian Bale. Nolan was crafting some genius films, and Christian Bale was a fantastic actor, by the way. Just didn't bring his. Oh, dude. We will definitely one of these days. 4K. I'm actually coming out to New York. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting a couple years, and then, my man, we will do the New York thing. You can show me the cool places there. I really want to see New York. Bale's a bit of a dick in real life. That's a fact. Adam West is your favorite? Adam West is fantastic. People forget him when they talk about Batman a lot. Adam West, unfortunately, is no longer with us. I did get to meet Adam West. He was a very nice guy. It was it's one of my highlights is getting to meet the man. And he was Adam West. He is way underrated. It's really hard to pull off camp successfully. To successfully pull off camp as a style. A lot of times it can come if you are really trying to do camp. If you're seriously putting in a concentrated effort, it can come off really, really bad and really, really wrong. A lot of times it doesn't work. Adam West got it. He got what he had to do, and let's not like diminish what he did here, because Batman comics were not doing well at the time that Adam West took over, started the Batman TV series. In actuality, Batman comics were doing pretty horrible. They could have really done anything they wanted to with the Batman series at that point because they literally had nothing to lose. Batman could have been a comic that, at that point, could have reached cancelization status. It wasn't doing well. It wasn't well done at the time. The comic book ended up taking a lot from the television series. Some people thought that took away from the comic, but it didn't. It saved it more. Do I like Marvel or DC comics more? I am more of a DC comics guy overall. There were certain Marvel comics that I remember reading when I grew up. I'll tell you some of the comics I read when I grew up. Maybe that'll give you like a better example of the style of stuff that I like. Well, on the Marvel side of it, I read a lot of the Spider-Man stuff. I was a teenager, of course I did. I read Rom's Space Knight, if you can imagine that one. And of course, as I got older, a lot of the X-Men stuff. Now, on the DC side of things, I was reading Batman, I was reading Superman, I was reading The Haunted Tank. That was a favorite of mine. I read a lot of Jonah Hex, even read Hex, the series where Jonah Hex goes into the future. I was reading a lot of the horror titles as well. So House of Mystery was a big one with me. I, Vampire, Andrew Bennett. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that character or not from House of Mystery. It was an ongoing vampire story in House of Mystery comics with, hosted by Kane. Later on hosted by Elvira. Oh yeah, I read Swamp Thing. And when Vertigo came about, that's when I really completely fell in love again. I loved the early stuff. I was a John Constantine. I was a Hellblazer reader. Hellblazer, I read like, yeah. Vertigo is, oh yeah, you're talking about some of my favorites. Now, Animal Man I loved. I loved Doom Patrol. I thought Shade the Changing Man was very underrated. Of course, like everybody else that's my age or about 5 or 6 years younger, we all read Sandman. And would go on and read Sandman Mystery Theater, which is a very different Sandman, as Wesley Dodd. Right now, it's a good, if you're a Vertigo fan, it's a good time to have it. It's a good time to be watching the shows because DC has pretty much turned their eyes towards Vertigo style programming. If you've seen Titans, for instance, the series Titans, which I had a very low expectation going in. I am not going to lie to you. Titans is very much a DC Vertigo style program. It isn't more of an adult show. They put in a lot of superhero characters without having to diminish them at all. Yes, I know. I'm so excited about that, James. And that's going to be a part of that same universe. So the one that has Swamp Thing, it has Titans. I know. Thank you, Boredom Strikes. Where's the likes? Come on. Oh no, there is the Swamp Thing series coming. Derek Mears, I think, is playing Swamp Thing, if I'm correct. James, I think, will know that one. Adrian Barbeau was going to be in it. There's right now, I'm not sure if you saw it, watch Titans. Like, seriously, watch Titans. There's a spin-off show called Doom Patrol. And so I would love that. And the third series on that one is Swamp Thing. The fourth series coming out is going to be called Stargirl. Oh, Adrienne Barbeau, still to me, she is a gorgeous lady. And so good. I mean, my favorite Adrienne Barbeau is probably one of my favorite things that she did is Carnival. That's, I know it's not superhero, but it's very comic, Vertigo comic like. Google Doc list, right? Kicking it old school boredom. But yeah, so loved Adrienne Barbeau. And Carnival was just one of those shows. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out Carnival. I'm trying to see what I've missed here when it comes to... no, she is perfect. Age is a number movie, Mac. And she is gorgeous. Yeah, I did actually. I'm a really big fan of the podcast. It's really fun. I haven't got to listen to all of it yet. I've got to listen to like the first 2 or 3 episodes, I think. I'm not sure how many are there. How many are out? I've listened to a couple. Jennifer Tilly one, I think, was the last one I listened to. I think it might be the second one. She wasn't married to Carpenter, I don't think, but yes, they did go out together. Actually, it was a little bit awkward on The Fog because he was working with his ex, Deborah Hill. Meanwhile, he was dating at the time Adrienne Barbeau, who was pretty much one of the stars of The Fog. Jamie Lee Curtis has mentioned a couple times that it was kind of weird. It was kind of like her going back in and seeing her parents separated on the set of The Fog because of the fact that here John Carpenter was, and the last time she was making a film with John Carpenter, him and Deborah Hill were a couple, and she comes back to do The Fog, and all of a sudden John Carpenter's there and he's with Adrienne Barbeau. And that had to be really different, really unique, and really odd for her. She did a great job with it. See, Barbara Strikes, and still no more likes. Shameful. There's 10. Speaking of the Suspiria remake, did everybody else, like me, get that god-awful picture for Suspiria for the Amazon Prime thing? It is so, thank you, Borna. It is such a bad cut and paste job. I'm like, look it up. It is horrible. You could take like a 4-year-old and they could do a better job at putting a Suspiria ad than what the hell comes out on Amazon Prime. That one didn't come on 4K, did it? Like Suspiria. That one only went as far as Blu-ray, right, Javid? I got to get the, I haven't seen it all the way through, and that's because I don't want to watch it streaming. I do want to have the Blu-ray of it. That's the only reason that I haven't gotten through it yet. I kind of liked what I saw, but I'll put it out there. I still think that my favorite is always going to be the Argento one. I think so, Sarah Light Shot, because I got like a, I got an email, and it showed. Let me see if can I find it. I'll see if I can find it anyway. I got to see if I can find this for you. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. See this? No, you don't, of course, because I'm on the screen. So this here, 3 cut and pasted people in with yellow background. It's Suspiria on it. Oh, damn it, I can't find it here. It is so bad. It is so bad. I guess, well, coming to like horror comics, for instance. James, you know me, I'm a completist. I'm going to have to get it anyway. That's the killer part. I will always have to get it. You're done. I think you mean Joe D'Amato. I think your thing auto-corrected for you there. So yeah, right now, 88 Films is doing a Indiegogo campaign for one Lucio Fulci film and one Joe D'Amato film. Hey, Kubrick lover, how's it going, man? So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, because these films are not ones that have been readily available at all. Not as far as I know, anyway. So it'd be really interesting to see them do like get the full amount so that we can actually see like a feature-laden version of both of these films. So if you're interested in it, check out 88 Films Facebook page and then head on to the Indiegogo portion from there. There's a few Vinegar Syndromes in the titles in the UK. As you guys know, Benjamin and I got 3 Vinegar Syndrome titles coming from my good friend Brian, actually. And one of them we'll, fingers crossed, we'll be doing a podcast on. I won't say which one yet, but the 3 titles that I got coming right now are, you want to know? Or do you want to know, or should I just wait till I open them up and show you guys then? I'll wait till I open them up. Anyway, so I've got 3 Vinegar Syndrome from the March lineup coming. There's, I'm very intrigued, like, actually. One of them especially, because it has a commentary that I am dying to hear. Because Kate Ellinger is on it. Kate Ellinger and Sam Deegan, and God, there's another girl. This is the third girl, and I apologize. I normally know her, but I can't remember the name right now. So really looking forward to that one, and that's Flesh Pot on 42nd Street, which is an Andy Milligan film. It's actually one of the I think it may be an adult film actually with the story, but with that commentary that's gonna be killer for me. That's money, baby. It's the style that I do like, and the movie Flesh Pot on 42nd Street, if you have any interest in it, or the commentary, or the film at all itself, or you want to check out some Andy Milligan stuff, it is only being done with the slipcover release. They are not redoing this one with as a regular standard release. So just to let you guys know, something to keep in mind. Jaws 4K. I don't know if we get it. I would love it. I like to have all the Jaws films in 4K, and would like to see like something like Scream Factory or something like that go into 4K a bit, maybe do it there, or a company like that, because it'll be really interesting to see it go to see it go there. I'm a big proponent of 4K. There's still a lot of stuff that hasn't been done. Companies like Samsung that have just stopped doing physical media to like players altogether are not helping, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass in the long run. But it makes sense that Samsung isn't doing it, to be totally honest with you, because out of all the companies that were making like Blu-ray players and 4Ks, Samsung was pretty low on the list of ones that people ended up going for. You would find people going for like Oppo's a lot. Unfortunately, they're not around anymore, but they did a great job when they were there. I even think the lower end brands like the Seikeys were, because they were like region free, tended to get get a lot of traction, get sold a lot. But Samsung was never a company that I went to thinking, well, I got to get a Blu-ray player. 2001 is one of the best. Like if seeing an older film done as a 4K release. That's an odd question to say, like. But 2001 is actually one of my favorites. Reference quality discs, I would have to say, well, John Wick is one of them, and definitely Planet Earth 2. You got to have that if you got 4K. Hey, Reality, welcome, dude. I talked a lot about comic books today. I'd say that much right now, and comic book films. My kids actually are getting their first like TV for their house. Well, they got TVs that we gave them, but they're buying their own first TV. And so the ordered one, and it should be coming sometime next week. I know, I'm so excited for that, James. They're getting a 50-inch 4K. Can you imagine? I'm drinking tea. I'm having the coffee later on tonight, though. I got some French vanilla upstairs. Do I read much comics nowadays? And unfortunately, Javid, I don't get a lot of time to read comics nowadays. I do try to read when I can, and I do pick up a few graphic novels. Whenever I meet to my kids, I definitely check them out. But yeah, I don't get to read as much as I want to. I do want to see where the Three Jokers storyline is going. I'm actually really intrigued about that. It'll be interesting to see what the culmination to the Three Jokers storyline is. If for people here that don't read comics, during oh God, what was it called? During one of the recent in the last year or two, Batman got him what's basically kind of a God chair, where you basically get the answers to the universe type of thing, and he asked it a question, and he asked it the identity of the Joker, and it responded to him which one. There are three. So the ongoing thought within the fan community is, who are the three Jokers? See, I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks now. I have a few that I have queued up. I'm the geek that will listen to an audiobook while reading a book. So that's me though. I've been a voracious reader since I've been a kid. The very first book that I ever owned, that I ever read, was Tales of Mystery and Imagination by Edgar Allan Poe. Scream Factory, when Scream Factory started, most of their stuff, well, a lot of their stuff came where it was MGM related, if you can remember. Like he's like, Scream Factory's put out this, Scream Factory's put out this. What MGM movie is not out yet? Stephen King. It always depends on like reality for me on who's doing it, right? Like there's certain ones that I like better than others. I really liked. I'm a huge fan of his nonfiction book, Danse Macabre, and that's actually got a great audiobook too. So if you've never read Danse Macabre though, I do recommend reading that one. It's a really good Stephen King book. It talks about horror in the written form, in television, in film, and in radio. It goes through the whole gamut. It even has a little quiz in there. Hey, P Movie Archives. Yeah, there are some pretty bad narrators. Sometimes they can be fun, and sometimes they can be really. I was just about to mention something, then I thought, not appropriate for a podcast that has Superhero Saturday on it, so I won't mention it after all. But it was what I think of The Entity. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie, Mac, to be honest with you. I think if you're going to buy it, don't buy the Blu-ray, buy the DVD. There's more features on the DVD, to be honest with you, than there is on the Blu-ray. There's stuff missing on the Blu-ray edition of it. It's kind of like a tourist trap type of deal. So if you ever bought Tourist Trap, it's a fantastic slasher film starring Chuck Connors, right? And Tanya Roberts is in it. Full Moon did it. Anyway, great film. The DVD, fantastic. It's uncut. Got commentary, all this stuff. They put it on Blu-ray. When they did, they put it on with a cut version. So when the commentary is being queued up, the director's talking about stuff that you actually don't see on the screen because it's not the uncut version that the DVD was. Now, The Entity, the film itself, remains uncut in both the DVD and Blu-ray version of it. However, unless there's another Blu-ray event, maybe there's a new one out now. The older Blu-ray of The Entity kind of took most of the features off of the disc. That really bothered me. But what I think The Entity itself is a film, I really liked it back in the day, but I don't remember it right now. New York Ripper, I have to have it. I got Maniac, I've got Zombie. Those lenticular Blu-rays are incredible. And if you guys aren't more slashers, nice. If you need any recommendations, slashers are kind of my thing. Have you yet checked out Splatter University? It's quite the film. Hey, did that eye thing there. Kind of creepy, right? One of the reasons why I am now ordered the would I say Psycho was the first slasher? It's not a good movie, Movie Archives, but it's worth seeing. And there's a lot of interesting things to it, especially the behind-the-scenes aspect of it. In about a couple weeks from now, one of the films I'm talking about on the Just to This podcast, which all of you should hopefully listen to, is Splatter University. I actually talk a bit on that film. Anyway, if anybody's wondering why I ended up going with the lavalier as opposed to the other type of mic that I originally thought about getting, I'll be talking about Splatter University. I'm not going to talk about Psycho. Now, just this, I'm known for my vinegar syndrome knowledge. Psycho is a classic film. What I think of it as the first slasher film, I guess it's a proto slasher film. There's a lot of you gotta when you're looking at slasher stuff. What I really look towards, see, the giallo genre is definitely very much its own genre, and slashers would take a lot from that to the point where certain Italian films that that were slasher films that work in the giallo way and as well. Um, Psycho is a fantastic film. Me myself, I'll be honest with you, Psycho is not my favorite of the Psycho films, and I know that's kind of sacrilege to say because I'm a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan and I love a lot of the stuff that Alfred Hitchcock does. But I I really like the sequels. I do. I like number two. I like Richard Franklin's uh, his direction on Psycho 2. I really like Psycho 2. I saw it in theater. Uh, I really like Meg Tilly in Psycho 2. I enjoyed the sleazy slasher aspect of Psycho 3. Uh, Directed, of course, by Norman Bates himself, Anthony Perkins. And I especially liked the ahead of its timeness of Psycho 4, and which precursored Bates Motel by by a large margin, and had some great performances in it. I know the aspect of Norman being in the movie as like Anthony Perkins was more of like a framing device, and it worked, but it maybe wasn't needed. Uh, yeah, Bates Motel was now Javid. Before you say Bates Motel was great, I'm assuming you're talking about Bates Motel the TV series, not Bates Motel the almost TV series, which starred Bud Cort, and was going to be pretty much be, hey, do you like Psycho? You know what you're really gonna like? Imagine if Psycho. Imagine if Psycho was the Love Boat. It'll be an anthology series, and everybody will come to Bates Motel, and they'll meet up, and some will have like scary things happen, and some will have like funny things happen, and some will have romantic things happen. Doesn't that sound like an amazing idea for Psycho? Well, somebody thought it did. They actually hired Bud Cort, a fantastic actor, and oh my God, check it out sometime. Check out Bates Motel, the original show, as opposed to the actually really good series that came on years later. And it's definitely a revelation. It's something that you're gonna really, yeah. Seriously though. That being said, I would love to. Oh, you don't have Twin Peaks, dude. Who here? Is there anybody here that doesn't like? Has that what people would say? Those unpopular opinions type thing. Like who doesn't like Twin Peaks, or who's never like seen or doesn't like the series Twin Peaks? I'm a huge fan. Just Before Dawn. Yeah, it's been ages since I've seen Just Before Dawn. I mean, how long has it been? B Movie Archives. Let me put it this way: DVDs didn't exist the last time I saw Just Before Dawn. Uh, that's that's the truth. I haven't seen since VHS days. Uh, that's the last time. When it was out on VHS, when it came out on VHS in the store, that's when I saw it. You never saw Twin Peaks? It's really worth checking out. Here's a good test for if you're going to like Twin Peaks or not. Did you ever see the movie Blue Velvet? If you saw the movie Blue Velvet and you liked the movie Blue Velvet, you're probably going to like Twin Peaks. Because to me, Twin Peaks, especially the first season, it's pretty much, hey, Blue Velvet, the TV series. Even starring the same actor, Kyle MacLachlan. Like Lynch's. See, I got a lot of this stuff that I need to get. Now, obviously, my birthday came up next week, actually. So anybody that's seen what I got for my birthday knows I'm not going to be getting anything aside from if I get something from my mom or dad anytime soon. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that I would still love to get. I've actually got like an Amazon birthday wish list that I did out before I knew what I was going to get, and yeah, that was fun to do. The Bergman set, I still to this day, Javid, I walk by it, and thanks. Do I own some 8/8 films? Do you want to see? one of the reasons that I ended up with a lavalier mic instead of a more professional mic is basically so I can do this. So let's go over to my 8/8 films. Thanks, Rayot. I really appreciate that. This here is my 8/8 film slasher classics collection. I've got Alice, Sweet Alice, Unhinged, Graduation Day, Mother's Day, Don't Go in the Woods Alone, Splatter University, Slaughterhouse, Hollywood Chainsawkers, Nail Gun Massacre. I really enjoyed that one. Dead of Winter, The Boogeyman, Blood-Sucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh, Nightmare in a Damaged Brain, Children of the Corn, Children of the Corn 2, Children of the Corn 3. My Scooby band. That's it. If we ever get rid of it, you will know. Because it will go your way. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland, Scalps, Drive Massacre, Blood Harvest. Oh, Splatter University. This is the, there's a Vinegar Syndrome edition as well. So this is Splatter University. This is the edition from 8/8 Films. What's different on this one that's not on the Vinegar Syndrome one is this one right here. There's an actual bonus film, a later film by the director Richard W. Haynes, What Really Frightened You, which I thought was actually really interesting. And the interview with Justin Kurzweil is, of course, an exclusive to that. Now, if you look really closely there, see that actress? She's not in the movie, but if she looks kind of familiar to you, that is because you probably watched Friday the 13th Part 7 at one point, and she is Robin from Friday the 13th Part 7. Actress' name is Elizabeth Catane. But do I have more 8/8 films? Why, yes I do. I also have Zombie 3, Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. Strongly recommend that one. Man from Deep River. They do have a few things that cross over. Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals, Burial Ground, Creepshow 2, Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama, American Ninja 1, 2, 3, and 4, Bloody Birthday, Trancers, Castle Freak, Puppet Master, Puppet Master 2, and Puppet Master 3, and Blood-Sucking Freaks from Troma. If you want to know what the alternate artwork on Splatter University is for the Vinegar Syndrome one, it is this right here. There's a better look at Elizabeth Catane right there. The good thing about doing this with it hooked up the way that I've got it hooked right now is that I can go, did you like Sorority Babes? I really like that movie. Pretty much anywhere in the house, and I can bring you guys with me. I don't have student bodies. That's one that I really, really want. Splatter University is an 80s film. It's definitely an 80s slasher, and it really shows as an 80s slasher. It was filmed over a couple years. It was different. There's a couple films like that had like the had to go back for different reshoots, and it tonally shifts the film a bit. If you've ever wondered, like maybe kind of a style type thing, think of the Dorm the Drip Blood type thing. You know, pranks. I loved Road Games. I don't own it yet. It's Umbrella put out a great release of it. My birthday's coming up. If anybody wants to get me Road Games or student bodies, yeah, I would definitely recommend Road Games. It's a really great film. If you've never seen it, Jamie Lee Curtis is great. Stacy Keach is fantastic. The ending, Road Games, I love it. I won't spoil it for you. A little bit of a jump at the end in a different way, and it's really cool. It's really well done. It is a psychological thriller. It's not really a slasher film. It's done by Richard Franklin, the guy that directed Psycho 2, and of course directed directed Patrick, which was a very different film. Are you talking about the original Prom Night B-Movie Archives? It is a good slasher. No, it's very different than Hitcher when it comes to Road Games. It's very different. The Hitcher is very much Rutger Hauer's film. and the it's not a flashier one. It's a really good film though. Don't never underestimate road games. What was I just asked a second ago? Then I was asked about Prom Night. Yeah, the one with Jamie Lee Curtis. I actually really liked it. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, a movie like Prom Night, if you're gonna get it, get the Synapse version. Uh, but it's a slower, it's a bit of a slower burn. Just know that going in, it was shot at a different time. Everything didn't have to be like snap, 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 kill, kill, kill. But that being said, I think Prom Night's a really good film. I really enjoy it, and I have it in many different iterations on DVD and Blu-ray. The Synapse version is the ultimate one to get. Somebody mentioned Kurt Russell's film Breakdown, which is a fantastic film. That's one that really needs a good release. Are there good kills in Prom Night? Pretty good kills. I mean, like it's an '80s film. It's not. It doesn't go. It's not like a Friday the 13th. It doesn't go over the top like that. Think of stuff like Prom Night. I guess, guys, would you say like maybe a bit of Graduation Day when you kind of think about like the kind of the pacing style of it? But yeah, I would say maybe Graduation Day. Oh, Anthony, yeah, actually, we just mentioned that. Beatrice Sensi and 11 Days, 11 Nights. So if anybody haven't checked it out or wants to check out the 88 Films thing and wants to be part of the Indiegogo campaign, make sure you check that out afterwards. And of course, there was In Search of Darkness. Oh, Terror Train. Terror Train's fantastic. Terror Train's one of the movies that scared me as a kid, basically because I couldn't see it. I've mentioned this on here ad nauseum more than likely. But Terror Train freaked me out. It was Halloween night. I was really excited to get home because they were going to be showing, it might have been NBC, ABC, I'm not quite sure what channel. They were going to be showing Terror Train. So I'm watching the beginning of Terror Train. I get like 15 minutes or so in, and my mom comes like, no, you can't watch that. You got to go to bed. So my bedroom's right next to the TV. And my stepdad at the time decided he's interested in Terror Train. So he decides to watch it. Turns out pretty loud. So I can't see the movie. I can't see Terror Train. I can hear everything that's going on in the screen. Everything's going on. So I'm probably picturing at a point in my head a much scarier movie than Terror Train ever really was. But because of that, I was always freaked out whenever I'd pass the box, the cover art for Terror Train. Would always freak me out with the Groucho Marx looking face with that. I love the fact that in Terror Train, the killer goes from like outfit to outfit, so you're never quite sure who the killer is. I don't remember 11 Days, 11 Nights. I'm not even sure if I saw Javid. So I would really have to look. Does it have another name? To see if it's one that I've seen before. If not, if there's like a Fulci film out there that I haven't seen, I'm all about that. Because I love Fulci. You guys know I love Fulci. I'm also a fan of Joe D'Amato and Claudio Fugasso and Bruno Mattei. I like my Italian horror and my Italian films in general, to be honest with you. VHS store. Was it that? Was it that like raunchy of one? I'm trying to think if there's anything that I ever had to sneak in. I don't think there was anything that I had to sneak. Well, yes, okay, that would be a lie. In high school, it was grade 9 or 10. Actually, I was in the summer. I was like I was doing some babysitting and stuff, and there was like hey, Movie Cave Dave, welcome, dude. It's this is the King of Steelbooks here, and so for some reason the place that I went to was the store, and they had like this little, if you've ever been to the VHS store, remember little curtains, right? And everybody knows what's behind that little curtain. It's the adult cinema, and they would rent them to me. And so those had to get hidden. Yeah, I know. Who's putting? Is that Scorpion releasing? Is putting out the new version of Opera? I I guess I had no like embarrassment meter at all because I would just go in there and I would go pick up the new wave There's two. Fantastic. But yeah, I did actually. But how do we get? That's a twisted road to go down, especially when it's like starting out like a superhero podcast. But no, we got into slashers and stuff like that, and I'm a huge slasher fan. Does anybody here have anything that they kind of had to sneak, whether it be raunchy or like maybe it was scary or creepy, and maybe did anybody here have any problems getting? Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. I don't say it's a bad thing, but the movies that they had to sneak in, or movies that they couldn't watch because like maybe their parents didn't want like watching scary stuff, or didn't like them watching certain types of films. Really? So there, movie kid. See, my the guy that's supposed to be in the video store, right? It was a store, and it had like a movie section, and it had the infamous curtain section. Peanut Butter. It's weird when you think about it, right? When you really, really think about it, like it's okay for a 14 or 15-year-old to go and pick up a driller killer or cannibal holocaust or something like that, right? That's, but put a pair of breasts in a film and all of a sudden, yeah, I've often thought that was really kind of a mixed up, like, kind of mentality range. I do think that, the video nasties, I love watching stuff about that. You lived through the video nasty era. That fascinates me. It's, I'm fascinated with like different eras of cinema. My hubby and wife, they also let us get horror movies. Oh, nice. You don't watch anything really? Yeah, that's the way it happens. And I find a lot of people, the more that they were restricted early on, the more stuff and the more outrageous stuff they'll watch later on. I think 12 Girls Can Buy His Camp. You'd be surprised being movie archives, actually. They actually probably good. If you went up with like a copy of like Friday the 13th, or you went up with a copy of, if you're a kid, Debbie Does Dallas. At a video stores back in the day where I'm at, you know, you might get more. You might say, "Hey, wait a minute, that's Hellraiser. You can't have that." Debbie Does Dallas, yeah. Go on. See there, you collect video nasties now. Are there any movies still banned from release? Have there movies that I think should be banned from release just because they're that bad? Wouldn't let you watch Revenge of the Nerds. I've seen Revenge of the Nerds, and if you watch Revenge of the Nerds now, a couple disturbing things about that film. Not gonna lie, it's a couple of things are really, maybe your parents were ahead of the curve there. Catwoman, movies. See, here's the thing. I hate to say a movie that I really don't like, because a movie that I don't like is always going to be somebody else's favorite, and I really really don't want to be that person that's a dick that makes somebody feel excluded in any way, because cinema. What my favorite movies are, some people are going to hate, and vice versa. But some people take it very seriously, and they were like, "I can't believe you like this movie and didn't like this movie," or when I came on, like before, long before I did YouTube, we'd go on to forums. Remember when forums were like a big thing? And I'd go in, and eventually, inevitably, we would talk about Batman. And I would say, well, yeah, I'm a really big fan of the Keaton Batman. And 25 people every time would be like, oh, Keaton sucks, man. You gotta, Christopher Nolan, that's the only Batman. Yeah, yeah, that's saying everyone has their own taste. But they made me feel bad. Finally back on track. It goes around. It's controversial movie franchise is definitely Star Wars and Transformers. Star Wars, I can say. I mean, like Star Wars has been controversial. Actually, I'll get back. That's actually not a bad question. Star Wars is probably the most controversial franchise going. I don't see why. I mean, just enjoy it. I mean, if you feel like these aren't your Star Wars movies, they're probably not. Maybe you've outgrown them, or maybe they're just not your thing anymore. But nobody, no company, I can promise you that that this scene in which I'm about to act out never happened, ever, in any form. So you've bought the Star Wars franchise from Lucas. What do you do now? Well, as evil conglomerate Disney, what I want to do is flush all our money down the toilet and destroy the Star Wars franchise. Didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. Gonna have to retitle video. Not really. See, B-movie archives, I always say what it's originally gonna be, and it does stay that. So Superhero Saturday, for the first 50 something minutes of this thing, strong superhero content. My favorite adult film. Most of them aren't available because I grew up, I'm an 80s kid. So who do you think I saw most of? What actress do you think I saw most of as as an adult actress? It's like, take a guess. Who would show up in almost every adult film that I watched? Like, in all seriousness, like just think. Well, let me put it to you this way. Only one of her films are available anymore. Not Chambers, actually, there's a few of hers available. Tracy Lords. I grew up in the 80s. Tracy Lords was the biggest thing going in that industry. Little did I know that I was watching somebody that was around my age. Disturbing when you think of it now, that she actually managed to get in there and get that done. But yeah, so all of the films that she was in that I'd watched when I was younger, because that's what was legally available, now of course are in like definitely got snapped off the shelf, because all of a sudden they realized this is an underage child that was making these films, and as a dad, I'm like, thank God, I'm glad that's off. But those are ones that I remember. But like for like ones with storylines and stuff like that, you guys know I like what films sit at the back of my mind all the time. Black Christmas a lot. Yeah, she was in Blade. She also did the music in Blade too. She did some music in Blade. She was in a band. Good too. She's pretty good. But that's a good question. That's a really good question. I still haven't answered the adult question yet. But I will get back to that, by the way. What was your comment about Star Wars? That means retype it, if you don't mind. What was I trying to? That's it. See, I got to have something where I'm like looking, saying, okay, what's the question that I have to answer now? My sister, actually. Well, my sister's here. Just responding to her. Favorite adult films. My favorite adult film. It's really hard. But I did like a lot. Didn't George Lucas get the Star Wars idea of sorts? Oh, actually, no. Actually, he got it from an Akira Kurosawa film called Hidden Fortress. A lot of the... Go watch Hidden Fortress. There's a lot of Star Wars in the Hidden Fortress. And of course, actually, just as like Indiana Jones was, a lot of that was taken from different serials back in the day. But that doesn't take away from the strength or the power of those films. Like Seven Samurai is a fantastic film. That's not going to take away from Magnificent Seven. Both are great films in their own right. They do some great stuff. And I still don't know what my favorite adult film is, but I'm sure Vinegar Syndrome has put it out. I guess the Taboo series back in the day. I was a big Kay Parker fan. Um, this is an odd question, but I like it. Sorry, Jude. Yeah, that's my favorite Vinegar Syndrome adult film that I got. Let's go over. Tell you what, here we go again. Are you ready? Flash Gordon. I remember there's a movie called Flesh Gordon. I'm not even joking. It was a softcore type film. So this is my Vinegar Syndrome collection right here, guys. This is where I go to when I'm doing my Vinegar Syndrome stuff. So let's look here and see if I can tell you what my favorite ones are. So Hot and Spicy Pizza Girls, the first volume, I think the first volume of 5 films, 5 years. Strongly recommend it. Really good movie. Really fun. And let me see if I can find it here. There's a Woman's Torment, which is really, really good. That's an adult film, by the way. I guess in a way, I'm always probably pretty much going to be known as that Vinegar Syndrome, Severin type of guy, and like my style of my style of film taste. Now that being said, like was mentioned there by somebody earlier, I got the Bergman set too, so I've got an eclectic taste when it comes to cinema. I don't think that there's any type of film that should be like written off. There's no genre that I think from like from fantasy to western to horror to adult to art house. There's nothing that I really think that that should be written off. There's some films that I think probably should have never been made. Irreversible Javet, it was a one-time watch for me. It was a hard watch. It's a great film. It's well shot and well done, but it's definitely a hard film to watch, especially with the sequence. And it was brilliantly made. What I don't think was brilliantly made was the Serbian film. I thought that was really badly done, and I didn't like it. And I just thought it was tasteless. But Irreversible is definitely more of an art house film, but a darker one. And Monica Bellucci, of course, the gorgeous Monica Bellucci, was fantastic in it. She was wasted later on, and when they said, "Oh, Monica Bellucci's going to be a Bond girl," and she was like a Bond girl for like 10 minutes at the beginning of the film, so not too happy on that. Serbian film tried so hard to be something to make you think it was something important and not not a bad exploitation film. But that's my opinion. I've seen everything Bisson, but I don't remember that one right now. Luc Besson is definitely a different director. But when it comes to like the film, to cinema, which one? Big Blue is the grossest film. I don't know if I've seen it. Then Arquette. Why does that sound familiar? Those people have not seen a Serbian film or even Lars von Trier stuff, I guess. Just start watching Antichrist or some stuff that like that. That's Serbian. Oh yeah, it is. It is in a way. I mean, it tries to be. It definitely tries to be. It's tasteless. Yeah, it's like it's not a good film. Like look at also the Human Centipede films. Some people love them; they think they're fantastic. Other people like completely hate on the Human Centipede films. I'm I'm neutral. Uh, I like what they tried to do with them. I mean, like it's pretty much for me. It's like it's a general concept that gets stretched out over a film, and okay, it can be done for one film. In the second film, I do like the fact that, and this is going to be, I guess this is one of those controversial opinions too, that Human Centipede 2 actually did a, Human Centipede 2 was it was unique. I like the way they did that. Have I seen Revenge? Yes, I did, and I really enjoyed it actually. It is. It's definitely it's a darker film, but it does take a different approach to the rape revenge genre, almost making it into a slightly cartoonish style film. Human Centipede 2 was done very differently. Jupiter Glover, like really differently. It has an. You're probably not going to like it if you didn't like the first one. The second one's not going to win you over. But if you had even a passing interest in the first one, the second one has an interesting concept in that it's somebody that really enjoyed the first Human Centipede film, and he is pretty much like wanting to make his own Human Centipede. The line between fact and fiction, reality and illusion, is blurred beyond comprehension for this guy, and he is really Island of Death. Island of Death is one that always gets talked about a lot, and I didn't. Yeah, definitely. It's like it's a copycat of the film. Like the film in Human Centipede 2. Human Centipede is a film in the second film. It's it basically it does the thing where he sees the film and he gets obsessed with it. So that that aspect of it is good. Somebody mentioned Island of Death. Island of Death was a movie by Nico Mastrakis, and I'm a huge fan of Mastrakis' work. Blind Date, which was put up recently by Scorpion Releasing, I do strongly recommend that. It's a fun film with Joseph Bottoms, Kirstie Alley, and of course, oh God, what's the girl that played Deanna Troi in Star Trek: The Next Generation, and like was in a bunch of stuff. I really like her actually. Marina. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking on this right now. But Island of Death is not like it's not that controversial. There's like a couple of weird scenes in Island of Death. I should know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. But no, it's killing me now, guys. I got to find out. You guys will probably have it figured out before I get there. Marina Sirtis. There we go. I had a huge crush on Marina Sirtis. She's on the Google Doc list. So is Denise Crosby with Sashi Art. And yet, for some reason, I've been on here long enough that I guess that my mind blanked out. Okay. Where were we? We've talked everything tonight from superhero to slasher to adult. What Star Trek TV show did I like the most? Probably I grew up the original series, but Next Generation is one that I actually enjoy. So I'll go with the Next Generation, but it's almost on par with the original. I do like them both. My least favorite Star Trek show, and I think they're all good, is probably Voyager actually, and I still enjoyed Voyager, but that's probably the least out of all of them. I actually think Enterprise is better than Voyager. Controversial opinion. But yeah, that would be like for me. I like the Star Trek the animated series. I actually haven't seen a lot of Discovery. What I've seen, I've liked though. It'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Star Trek or Star Wars? Both. But if I had to choose one, I'll go with Trek. Actually, I'm a huge Trekkie, and I like the television stuff. I like that television as a medium can actually flesh out the characters a bit more than like say a Star Wars film can. But I do like them both. I saw Star Wars the original in theater back in the day. I am old enough to have seen that. I was young. I also saw the other Star Wars films in the theater too. Even the political ones, the prequels, where where George Lucas was thinking, you know what kids are really into? Parliament. Kids are into Parliament. Did I like Eraserhead? I liked anything that Lynch did. I'm a huge Lynch fan. Lynch, Cronenberg, those guys pretty much bad it for me. I can't think of anything that I didn't like by them. Maybe you guys can think of something. But I pretty much liked all of their films. Eraserhead was a very different film. It is by far and large it is a horror film. So Crumb is fantastic. I love the documentary Crumb. Mulholland Drive was one of those movies much maligned in its day. Later would be considered by many critics the best film of that era. So and I think it was James, right? You got me Mulholland Drive, didn't you? I don't own Crumb. I've always wanted to own Crumb. Every time there is a Criterion sale that comes by, I say I'm going to buy Crumb, and I end up buying something else. But I really have to get it. I really love the documentary Crumb. I think it is fantastic, and if you haven't seen it, I strongly recommend you check it out. I can imagine Dakota Multibone. Lost Highway. I love Lost Highway. That's one of my better half's favorite films, actually. She was a huge fan of Lost Highway. Robert Blake is creepy in that, like super creepy. Right now we're into question time. Definitely with this here. I probably won't go on too much longer because I don't want to tire out the people that are watching and have them go, "You've been on too long. Won't you shut up now so I can go do something else?" Uh, I think which one? Inland Empire. Considering I don't remember what that is, it can't be that overrated. Thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate that. I really do. Uh, but yeah, this has been one of my longer videos in a while. I hope. Uh, David Lynch. Really? Why don't I remember that one? Dude, that can't be too overrated if I can't remember it. Not including the box sets, how many indicators titles do I have? Two. I have only got Movie Mac in the indicator ones. I've been on for 103 minutes now. I got Happy Birthday to Me, and what's the other one I got? And it's not Dr. Terry Says Horrors. I think that's... maybe it's only one. My favorite Francois Truffaut film. Foreign Blows is a really good film. I'd have to look because it's been a while since I've seen anything from Truffaut. I got a question for you guys. Now that the Bergman box set is out and it's done really, really well, where do you think Criterion should go from there? Who should be up next? I mean, my birthday is on the 31st. Bunnies? Oh, I like bunnies. So all you guys here, you got like 7 shopping days left. So Kurosawa, yeah, I definitely agree. But what I was going to say, Javed, I didn't get finished. Actually, is aside. I do like Fahrenheit 41, 451. Even it is definitely. There's definitely differences from the source novel and big differences. But I did enjoy the film. I actually did enjoy it a lot. I thought he had a really good take on it. aside from Kurosawa, which is pretty much the obvious, who would you choose for Criterion to put out a set of, like a mega set of? Godard and Truffaut, both really good choices. Buñuel, yeah. Anyone else? So I'm surprised nobody said Fellini, which kind of seems like another obvious. Uh, but for like a mega set, you gotta have somebody that's got like a Lynch. Ooh, Dick Fassbender. Arrow kind of did that, but you know, Criterion doing it would be interesting as well. It's really hard. I mean, like this to me, unless the Kurosawa set comes out, I can't think of like anyone that they can do that deep of a dive with. That it's going to be really hard, and the reason behind it is going to be not just that they put out this awesome set with a huge coffee table book inside of it. The question right now, Murdersville, is the Bergman set. It's out. It is fantastic. The Criterion put it out. Aside from Kurosawa, who do you think that they could do a really good set of like that? Someone there with Starlight Shot just said Wes Anderson will be someone. Uzu is another fantastic choice. You guys have a lot of really good choices. Jim Jarmusch. That's definitely not an unpopular opinion. Jim Jarmusch does some great work. And he's been heavily spotlighted in Criterion. It wouldn't be as big of a set, but because, you know, but it would be like, it would definitely be an interesting set. Michael Bay. Why, yes, Michael Bay's films. I'm still amazed that they put out 2 Michael Bay films on Criterion. It just blows my mind. Polanski. Controversial, but yeah. Rob Zombie would be probably less controversial than Polanski. Ford. If he had the licensing, Murdersville, Ford would be an incredible choice. Can you imagine? Like a comprehensive John Ford set. And I've got like a lot of John Ford on DVD. John Waters. Javid, if Steph was here, Stephanie Crawford, she would be high-fiving you right now. That's one of her favorites. And me too, I would definitely buy a John Waters set. Like, but it's got to have like all of them. It's got to have like the later stuff too. I'm a huge John Waters fan. Samuel Fuller. Like, I've got that indicator set over there, and Cubic Lover, to be honest with you, I would love to see a complete Samuel Fuller set, like past those films there. Because, you know, obviously they got like Shot Corridor out there, like some great stuff, Naked Kiss. So there's a lot when it comes to like directors when you think about it. Like you think like maybe there's not, maybe, but you guys have mentioned a lot of people, some people I haven't even thought about. It almost makes you like, what happens? What if they did like Billy Wilder, and they have done some of his films? Guys, you've impressed me tonight. You've impressed me with this question, actually. You guys thought of some stuff I didn't even think about. Ray Harryhausen. But all this stuff's been put out in Movie Mac, though. A lot of it like on the, like I know they could put out like another set, but I just bought all those indicator Ray Harryhausen, so I'm selfish that way. Hey, Scalder, how's it going? You're coming in near the end of the movie club. And welcome, for coming in. We talked about everything tonight. Or they could do it with an actor. It's like John Cassavetes, actor-director. They could go with the Cassavetes style set. Or they could choose, like, they could do the Criterion Film Noir box set. And they could put out, like, a huge film noir set with, like, with a big coffee table film noir book. It wouldn't matter how many of them I had, I would have to buy that. That would be like a day one purchase for me. Hands down, without a doubt, Nicholas Roeg. There you go. My God. Noir, called Scotch and Milk. I haven't seen that one yet. I'll check it out, though. I really want that Criterion Film Noir box set now. I really do. Like, please be a thing, Criterion. Do that. Hey, guys. Scalder there is one of the guys here that actually comes in and is on Twitter and he tweets my videos. Thank you for that, Scholar. I really appreciate that, by the way. Uh, but while you're doing that, if any use Twitter, you might want to like tweet, tag me in the tweet at Criterion, and go with Fritz Lang's fantastic film noir box set. Love to see that. High and Low is a fantastic film. You guys just blow me away with the answers that you guys thought up. So that wasn't a bad question. See, because I can come up with a good question. Actually, I have seen Detour a long time ago. Well, I guess I should mention it. I mentioned it earlier on if you're watching my my video earlier on today on down here in the movie library. I got the Criterion channel. Sergio Leone. I got the Criterion streaming channel. So right now, there's just like one film that's on there. It starts in April. And if you get it now, then you get a free month and you're locked in for the $9.99 price, because the price will go up after it goes past the first month. It won't go up for you though. If you're one of the people that get it before it started, basically you're one of the locked in customers that took the chance, said, you know what, I'm going to go get the Criterion streaming channel. I'm not going to wait till it comes out. I'm not going to wait to see how the first month or so goes. I'm going to grab it now. I think that if they do it right, Serialized Shot, it has a chance of lasting. They've already done one thing that's really smart, in my opinion. And I'm not sure if anybody's noticed this. I know that James has, because we mentioned it on Twitter when I was talking to him. And I think Scholars mentioned it too there as well. But Criterion is not just doing Criterion. It's also doing, Kubrick Lovers also doing Kino. So Kino Lorber is also in bed with Criterion right now, with the Criterion channel. So you're not only getting movies that are Criterion, you're getting movies that are Kino. And that opens up to a lot of interesting things. Why does somebody that collects physical media choose to get a streaming service like the Criterion channel? The Ray films, I would definitely recommend. Somebody, it's only 70 minutes long. How can I watch that? Well, the sweet spot for a film, for me, is around 88 minutes. So I think I could do a 70-minute film. There's a lot of So this person, I guess, has never in his life watched a Universal horror film. To each his own, but that's kind of sad. Have you seen any Pedro Almodovar? Yeah. And I'm a fan. Death Race 2000. There you go. See, they have some really cool stuff. People think just Criterion, and they don't get the width and breadth of the stuff that they do. And when they put Kino in there as well, and Kino is a very eclectic film company, there's a lot of stuff that they can do there, in all types. But Matt is your thing, isn't it? Which is not bad, actually. It's kind of cool. You've got your thing. I've gone through so many things, but your thing is consistent. I think if I had to say in anything consistency, it's time for tea. That if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that. But Matt tends to be your thing. Yeah. Bubbly. Yeah, probably. Oh God, Brian told me to get some bubbly when I was out, and I forgot it too. I had it on my list. I got to set up my Amazon thing there. What's it called? Dot. Upstairs. When you said the Val Luton set, I know, Sarah Light, I forgot. I thought you said Al Lewis, and I'm like, a Munster set. I'm definitely more chill than I was yesterday, Jab. I'm not sure if you're on here for my blaxploitation one. I do apologize. I lost my sound halfway through it, and it shook me up for the video. I did get back on track totally afterwards, but because in the back of my mind I was like, holy crap, uh, I need to get a better mic. I need to get a mic type of thing, and so yeah. But it's a pretty good one. Uh, but it was like I said before when I started. It was like the only time since I've started this that I really thought about. Oh, the room tours. Definitely check those out, dude. I'm very proud of those. Um, when I said, maybe I should have done the Patreon thing. Uh, oh, it's you again. What would I want? So, do you want me to answer that question, or is it just a trolling question? Because one doesn't take away from the other. Well, I've done, and if you think so, I'm sorry, but no. Um, if you think it's hypocritical to watch like exploitation cinema, uh, and or certain types of films, and that you can't support certain ideology at the same time, you are grossly under underinformed when it comes to that, and that's all. Yeah, of course, lots of women like slasher films. Uh, Often in the slasher genre, who's the strongest character? It's the female character. It's the final girl. It's not. It's never. It's rarely ever the final guy. Yes, fine. Exactly. It's the final girl. Female in the horror genre, especially characters, are extremely strong. Ripley, Laurie Strode, Nancy. In the even in many of the other types of exploitation films. All that other smut. You sound so condescending. Uh, I don't really like much Woody Allen now, but I definitely have my issues with certain things like that. Yes, I do, and I think there's a huge difference in why I won't watch Jeepers Creepers. Wonder why. Uh, but that's my thoughts and my opinions on things. If your idea is to come in and like just to attack and to get attention, this is your 5 minutes of attention. I'm at this point not going to block you because I'm going to assume that you're actually being earnest. But if you want to continue, I can block you, and you can do what you did on the other stream that I was on as a commenter and get blocked under different names, like you did already. And there's a lot of fantastic people here that comment on a regular basis that have already kind of like tore your argument apart. So there we go. You are the weakest link. Extreme violence. Yeah, we do things in cinema that we can't do in real life. That's actually, oh yeah, that happens. Every once in a while, Rich, has got to happen. Because heaven forbid somebody actually comes on and, let's see. Not at all, actually. See, here's the thing. Okay. So that person had a strong political agenda. Thanks, Chase. Uh, a strong political agenda that they wanted to get in there. So I'll be honest, Sarah Ledshot, freedom of speech only gets you so far on my channel. Obviously, that person, you don't see them typing now. Why not? Because I blocked them. Because this is about cinema. This is a. I want this to be a comfortable space for people to go and talk about stuff like that. I don't want to see the trolls coming in and doing their, well, I don't like this, or why do you talk about this type of thing. I used to take those people seriously when I started on YouTube and stuff like that. I used to I'd get like some comments sometimes, and I literally would hurt my feelings. I'd be like, why does this person not like me, or why does this person saying that, or what? But no, they are definitely not a democracy. I was not joking. That was the weakest link. They went. It was okay if somebody starts out, like wants to attack me or stuff like that. But when it goes into like attacking the fan base and stuff like that, oh no, I understood. I was joking. Oh, good Lord. So the person came back in with, this is sad, with another, that's because we don't watch all the same films, because God, yeah. Apparently, I'm just going to keep this open up just in case. I am kind of honored that somebody has gone out and opened up 2 accounts to ask me the same question ad nauseum. Oh, this stream goes in the way that you guys want it to go. We just, we get rid of stuff like that pretty easily. This person, a couple of people on here know who this person is. Because, oh, she was back with another name. I got rid of that one too. Yeah, no, it's pretty. It is funny. It's sad. Obviously, it is. Like, if that's kind of your thing, then yeah. I was on actually I was on a stream, and I don't hope they don't mind me mentioning it. And that person actually came on with another name, I think like Thrash Fingers or something like that, which is somebody that I had banned from here before actually, and did the same thing. Well, apparently respect does not go as far as respecting commenters. I don't understand, Murzo. Oh, you mean that what with her respecting you guys on her? Yeah, it doesn't. Like I said before, and I don't like to belabor the thing, but this is legitimately meant to be a movie club where people can talk about films and cinema and things like that. People that come in and just to cause a fuss or to make comments, just because they have they don't get attention in real life. Their parents weren't really nice to them. I don't know. I do not suffer fools lightly, and you get rid of stuff like that. Yeah, that was that was the one that pretty much clenched it. I could probably, I'm not going to say it in here. but some people would know. Uh, but there was a, I could probably guess the channel that that particular person watches, and that those thoughts come from. And it's a fairly popular channel. You guys might be shocked by who it is, but I'm definitely not going to put it out there. Except for most lately. Actually, I think it is. Uh, but I can't even close up my thing to look now because I don't want to have to come back in here and like to see somebody else coming in with another one of those. But I think Jace can probably figure out the YouTuber that I'm talking about. As could like if there's a couple of people that know. Oh no, God! If anything, it was a little diversion. It kept the kept the things spicy for a minute. Yeah. Anyway, where were we before we got so rudely interrupted by somebody that was so different? Oh God, I love cats. Yeah, that may be like that's one thing for when earlier on watching Captain Marvel, Goose. I wanted a tabby. I'm like, I got 3 cats. I'm like, should I get a tabby too? And I'm like, no, I cannot do this. I'm going in 2 years. I am moving in 2 years. I cannot get another cat. But plus these cats are comfy. They're in their own zone, their own spot. Mary Whitehouse. Ooh. I wish I could. My cats are actually upstairs right now. Parallel Pressburger complete box. It would be amazing. All right, there you go. What am I? Socialist state. Yep, I'm a socialist. Because unfortunately, people don't understand the difference between socialism and fascism. Fascism would be bad. Lauren Hardy on Blu-ray, that's something I would really love to see. Lauren Hardy on Blu-ray. Is there any Lauren Hardy Blu-ray sets out? Like, I've got some DVD stuff. But I've never seen like any like, I don't think I've got any Lauren Hardy on Blu-ray. Was there a Lauren Hardy Blu-ray set put out? Kubrick lover, you should be very familiar with what's going on here right now. What's films? Some films should be on Blu-ray. That's not. The first one that comes to mind right away is Fade to Black. If you've never seen Fade to Black, definitely check it out. It's a really good film. It stars Dennis Christopher, and he does an amazing job in he does an amazing job in it. It's one of the better like I don't really want to call it like it's a thriller, not so much a slasher. He's a movie fanatic, and he dresses up and kills people in different characters, like from. Oh God, it is just a fantastic film. I have the DVD for Fade to Black, but there's never been a Blu-ray, and it really needs kind of a Blu-ray special edition release. Mortal Thoughts. It does sound familiar, actually. Breakdown's another good one. Never. Never. Never Murdersville. Never. I love Breakdown. Fantastic film. I think the actor that played in the lead in Breakdown, I think he's passed away now, actually, if I'm correct. Not Kurt Russell, but the guy that played the bad guy, the villain. He was really, really good. He did an amazing job. Glass of Sheila. I don't remember that one, Jace. Which one's that? J.T. Walsh. Thank you. J.T. Walsh, I'm pretty sure he's passed away, right? J.T. Walsh. But yeah, J.D. Walsh was one of those fantastic actors. Demi Moore, Bruce. Yes, I have seen that. It's been a long time though. Oh my God, you guys are bringing the movies that has been like have been ages since I saw Who Done a '70s flick. I gotta look that up, Jace, because I'm intrigued now. That's Sheila. Ouch. It's like when I went to see. You get those actors and you usually see them as villains. Ben Mendelsohn is another actor that I'm normally you normally see in the last few years as a villain. He's just really good at it. So certain actors just get like, and they almost get typecast into doing these certain roles, but they just do so well to them that you don't want to see them do anything else. And when it seems strange when they're like in a different style role, but certain ones, like J.T. Walsh or Mendelsohn can actually go over and do different types of films. Oh, definitely should have a Blu-ray. There's so much out there that's not on Blu-ray. People don't even realize the stuff that's out there, and they wonder, why do you still buy DVDs? Why do you still buy VHS? That because you can't get everything in one format. Bad timing. Sounds familiar. I did get thrown off for a second there, guys. That did throw me off a minute ago. You almost saw the other side of me, which is the angrier side of me, where that's not the side you want to see. Movie mag, I don't want to get into politics and that stuff, but because everybody has different opinions when it comes to like politics and stuff like that. But if you want my honest opinion, that's a couple years, something, maybe, but not right now. There, it's an awkward thing to ask. Like politics is an awkward thing to talk about when it comes to here. I try to keep this kind of politics free, due to the fact that what's my favorite? No, he's not. Jace, I can pretty much if I'm that person, someone that got taken off my channel, I'm pretty sure, because of that. And Bill Murray, I still never mentioned that. Actually, I don't know. I liked his early stuff. Hmm. Yeah, you might want to report that, Jace. Yeah. Buffalo is definitely strong. I like some of these. I like Stripes. I love that movie. Good job. Never let anybody like kind of bully or take over your identity or clone your thing or any of that stuff. But I'm gonna take it in this way. You know that you've at least reached the level of popularity when somebody is like going to that aspect of it. So the way I figure it, yeah, I thought that was odd, Chase. My definitive thought on on trolls, the trolling community is it's a sad, like lonely community. I used to kind of feel sorry for that because I thought, these are people that feel kind of voiceless in reality. So they have to do other things. They have to like put on personas or different personalities. I actually really want. You mean Street Fighter from Arrow? That's the sister Street Fighter, right? And the Street Fighter. I keep putting the Street Fighter collection, the ones coming from Shout Factory, on my list and my on my wish list, right? And every so often it says this is no longer available. We do not know if it's going to be available again in your area. So unless I get to a store that actually has it, then it's going to be then it's if I get to Sunrise and it's there, or if I get to like if I go up to Bay Street Video and it's there type of thing. If I go to Toronto again, then I'll probably get Street Fighter. That's probably the only way I'm gonna be able to find Street Fighter in my area, because you can't even buy it on Amazon here. Oh yeah, dude, I can probably I could have told you that. But it is an interesting thing to. Don't worry if you do. You are the real you, and you know the real you. You can easily just. Captain Blood is my favorite film. It's one of my favorite films. I grew up. We're talking about it tonight actually. Captain Blood was the movie that I used to watch over and over again when I was a kid. It was one of those first that like had a strong, it had a strong influence on me. I would go out when I was young and get like a stick, and we would like play Captain Blood. The Clone Saga. Oh no, not the Spider-Man thing again. Doctor Cyclops. I haven't seen that in a while. I've got that here too, on DVD. Uh, 4K. You make me want to go to New York, dude. Attack the Clones. Oh man, how sad is it when your game has gotten so bad that you got to use somebody else's identity? That's a level of, that that's a level of suck that goes beyond, right? it goes beyond. It goes that, you know, your commenting has gotten so bad, you've gotten blocked so much to a point that the only way you can do it is to pick somebody else. And oh God. I'm kind of wondering what the I don't know how to give the wrench, John. I think I got to be on Google Talk for that, don't I? Facing the YouTube snatchers. Oh, they're not even worthy of that, man. It's the way it goes. So they'll come out with like fake identities and be like super aggressive and stuff like that. Yeah, well, we'll definitely make sure, Jay. So when we go on, we do the Western one. I'm actually starting to watch the Westerns now, so we can actually do that video. What we'll do is we'll make sure somebody has the wrench. You can have the wrench, or somebody else can have the wrench, and we'll just like squish it down. Hopefully, I don't have to do that. I've tried not to go to do that here. I just oh man. See, 4K for me. Well, you know, you had Times Square, Yonge Street in Toronto was kind of that place. It was a very different place back then. It was, you know, often you don't walk at night in Yonge Street. There's like too much. There's going on. There's crime, and there's like all this type of stuff. You know, all the stuff you get on 42nd Street, all the milieu of it all. But I would love to have been in that era, like to see that, to like just go back like in time and actually walk through 42nd Street to see some of those films back in the day with an audience, a live audience. Sometimes a bit of a dangerous audience. It was a fascinating era that I don't think can ever be. That can never be done again. Dude, John, man, you're one of a kind. No one can actually clone you. Ooh, that's interesting looking. Dude, there's a film. Is the film noir box set? Just report them anyway, John. You know, just to be on the safe side for you. But we're talking cinema, and we get into like this sad aspect of it, of YouTube. I guess sad aspect of YouTube. The I love the live aspect of this here, and I was really was that actually said? I'm sorry, Trini. You don't know. You shouldn't have crap like that said to you. But here's the thing: us here, actual members of the movie club, have a specific set of skills that that these people don't, and are extremely jealous of. So I don't. I'll be honest with you, Scott. I'm not even going to give it that. Uh, yes, it's different. Like there's issues, and no. I mean, it definitely is. No, it's a sad aspect of like the of like of social media, like whether it be Twitter or it be YouTube. Uh, People put on like things and personas, and these are the people that would not say boo in real life. Can you actually look at Jace, man? Can you actually imagine the person that's whoever cloning on the other side of the account ever saying, ever going up and saying that to, like to Jace or to John Steele to their face? Ain't going to happen. There's no way in hell. Behind the keyboard, yeah, okay, but in reality, no, it's not going to happen. Do I have a? And actually, I don't. I'm not a huge Cannibal fan, actually. Uh, don't worry about it. You, Culture Trini, for one, you rock. Two, comment all you like and never let anybody in a comment section or anything like that try and feel like that they can stop you from being who you are. Because they get squished and they're gone, man. You keep on rocking. Does never let those guys stop you. There's always going to be guys like that. But what was I going to say there? I lost my train of thought there now. Yeah, there's a Mondo Cannibal, like a Mondo Kane style. There's a Mondo Kane set that came out from, was it Severn, I think, put it out? And I know there's like a Mondo set that came out from Blue Underground back, was it Blue Underground back in the day? And there was a Cannibal set that Severn put out as well. It's probably only one or two people actually, B Movie Archives, just coming in with different like different names, and they're going out and they're creating another account and doing it. And they've probably done it before dozens of times on other sites and stuff like that. It's really, uh, it's desperate. But, you know, so, you know, there's, but yeah, most of the people that you would see like when trolling wouldn't be like somebody that's like at a mental hospital or anything like that. Uh, they'd just be people that just have like, honestly, just sad lives. Yeah, they make them, they delete them. I'm not a Faces of Death person or like a Mondo Kane really. Like I've seen like I've seen a few of those, but they've never really like I like the Mondo movies a bit more. But there's like I can watch certain kind of ones like Emmanuel and Last Campbell I've seen. Man from Deep River isn't too bad. Like it's one of the early ones, one of the first. But anything really that has like animal cruelty, I'm a big animal lover, so I really can't do can do that stuff. I love the movie The Hidden actually. We would think The Hidden and Nightmare 2 would be the one that's like be a double feature, right? Because it's like it's by the same directors by Jack Shoulder. I think it's kind of comical that the last time somebody came in a troll, which was the same person as before, because I can see by the type of comments they're making, that they called themselves the sad aspect of YouTube, because they are. Do I like? Oh, I love the Shokazuji is one of those guys that I absolutely adore. I'll watch like any of like Shokazuji stuff. Pray for Death, like God, there's two that were put out recently by Arrow. Pray for Death is one of them, and For the Life of Me, I can't remember what the other one was. They're both put out first, I think, by 101 Films as well, like kind of bare bones with their VHS covers as their covers. I kind of want both of them. Oh, if you see somebody B Movie Archives that's not legitimately on here, you feel free to uh, to report them because I normally, I just go through the. I kind of love the fact that Sellers pre-Hollywood comedies. There was a Sellers set actually. I got it here, like what has some earlier stuff. I'll tell you what, let's go over. Let's kind of ignore the drama and stuff like that. If you guys see somebody on here, feel free to report them. But this was put out by Anchor Bay back in the day. This set right here, this Sellers box set, and as like a few of his earlier films, it's got Carlton Brown of the FO, The Smallest Show on Earth, I'm All Right, Jack. What's the name of it again now? Hoffman, right? Hoffman, Heavens Above, and Two-Way Stretch. Some great early Peter Sellers stuff. This is all, I think, in the same era. What's the name of the company again that he worked for back then? He did so much stuff. These were, and I really did like. It's more of a serious one, but I did like. I did like Hoffman. I actually really enjoyed that. Yep, Terry Thomas. I'll relive Terry Thomas. Well, we cannot say we have not made this as an epic, long, amazing video, have we? Super Troll Saturday. Anyway, with that being said, guys, and with the Seller set being shown, awesome set. Recommend you look for it. It is a great Anchor Bay set. I would love to see that stuff on Blu-ray. I am going to end this one for tonight. So we've had superheroes and sad people, superheroes and sad people, and a lot of fun movie talk all along the way. So thanks everybody for coming here. Anybody that's a legitimate member of the movie club, thank you so much for coming in here. I really appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. And as always, you guys rock it. Thanks for staying with me with all the stuff going on. I'm actually going into town next week. It's okay, guys. The drama stuff, it happens. I guess we are a victim of our own popularity, right? So night all. Have a fantastic evening and enjoy your weekend.